In this video, I'll talk about 3 hobby tools that I've just started using. 2 of them cost under 15 bucks, and the other one comes with so much for only 35. They always tell you about the importance of having the right tool for the job, right? Like that seems to be something that people mostly believe in. I generally use the standard stuff for my wargaming, hobby miniatures and terrain building and construction, all that kind of stuff, hobby knives, clippers, sanding sticks, pin vise, that kind of stuff. But I do have some specialized tools for specialized jobs. The right tool for the job can actually be important. I picked up a few new tools a little while back, and I thought I might tell you about them in case you might not have known about them. If you're interested, links are down in the description below. We're going to start with something that I don't know why I've never had one before. It always is a thing that seems like I should have had it, and I just never saw one, I guess, in a store probably. I eventually did end up having to go online after I saw someone else use one in a video. I couldn't find any in local stores that was like this fine or whatever. Anyway, it's called a hobby saw, kind of. It's to me, a fine craft hand saw, I guess. It comes with 2 different blades. This one here is, it's hard to focus on, but it's a real small, little kind of narrow thing. It's 0.35 millimeters blade thickness, I believe. Now, I assume that's more the back of the blade, right? I don't know that it'll cut only a 0.35 millimeter cut through your whatever plastic miniature because the actual teeth feel like they're a little bit wider and all that kind of stuff. There's 2 blades that it comes with. There's this one, and then there's this much larger kind of chop kind of looking one. I mainly use the little tiny one like this because it's got less friction as I'm going through like cutting off a leg off of a model or something like that. The big one is probably better for cutting like bigger flat areas. Sometimes you're working on a model and you're just like, my X-Acto blade's not going to do the job, and I don't think that snips is going to be the right place to do it. And so in situations, especially like kit bashing, specifically kit bashing, these things are great for that. In that situation, this type of little knife is pretty cool, and it was like 12 bucks with the 2 blades, and it comes with a little plastic thing so you can put it in your pocket and not hurt yourself, probably. But yeah, it's a simple thing I probably should have had for a long time, and I've gotten one recently, and now I really don't know why I didn't have one earlier. The newest thing that I've gotten recently, I learned about at Dragonfall, which is a small miniatures gaming convention, raises money for charity. It's in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It was back at the beginning part of October. And I went and I saw a bunch of people that I know and everything like that. A guy I hadn't seen in a while, Chris, told me about this thing, and he sent me the link for it, and I got it off of Amazon. And it is a metal model painting stand kind of thing. It's got 16 of these little magnetic bendable alligator clips all inside this little tiny box. So you slide the top off, and it's got some stuff, and it's got a whole bunch of these alligator clip things, right? So alligator clips, you probably have seen these before, but they're basically just a pinchy thing with little teeth, and you can use it to hold stuff. Now, the benefit here is that it's on a bendable shaft, so I can position the thing that I'm trying to hold in pretty much any kind of position I want. And then there's also this magnetic base, which attaches directly to this big piece of metal. It'll attach to anywhere on this thing. It's just a bigger kind of piece of metal that's thicker, and it's in the bottom here. It has these holes around the edges, and this little baggie has like little rubber feet or something that you could screw into it and everything like that. But I generally put it all back into the thing when I'm done with it, so I don't want to have to take the feet off and go through all that stuff. Everything barely fits in this box as is, so I just leave this in the bottom like that, and then it allows you to be able to do like whatever you want with the parts. Now, also, you might say, yeah, but I don't want to use the pinchy alligator clips to pinch onto my precious plastic, Space Marine shoulder pads or whatever. And that's okay because it also, if I can get to focus, comes with little baggie of rubber tips that you can put over the feet, or the teeth, so that you can pinch stuff and then it won't be a problem, right? You've got this little pinchy thing here, and There's a whole baggie full of them, so you can put them on everything. It's really nice. They talk about like using it for painting, which I can understand to some degree, I guess. I mainly use it for gluing two things together that need to stick together. Like they need to hold together for a while, and I don't want to stand there and like hold them for 2 minutes or whatever. It's very simple. If you can, I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but once you get it set up, you can take two pieces that need to be glued together, and then you can just kind of slide them together using the magnets as like resistance until they're touching. And then once they're touched, you just let them be and let the glue do its job, right? And the fact that there's 16 of them in here means that you can have a lot of different things being set up all at once. If you were going to be using them for painting, I think if you clipped it onto a part, then I don't know how you would get paint on it. Let's say you were airbrushing it. When I do stuff that is more sub-assembly, I'm having to work with pieces, a model that there's parts that are going to be left off and put on later after they're painted, then I have a tendency to drill a little hole in like the back of the shield, let's say, that you don't generally see, and I glue a toothpick into it. Because then later on, once I've got done painting it, I can just clip the toothpick off and everything's fine. The problem is that little toothpick, I need to have a foam something on my desk to keep it so that I'm not just like letting it lay on the shield while it's still drying or something like that. But these things could hold a little toothpick. So honestly, I could do a whole bunch of painting with these things, so let's say airbrushing or whatever, and then just have these clipped to the toothpick and then later on rip off the toothpick after everything's painted, and that's fine. But it's also good for gluing. It's also good for holding all kinds of things together. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of them. The magnets are nice and strong, and they don't come off. So it's a nice little thing, and it was like $15. Lastly, this is something, you've all heard of Dremels, right? I used to have a Dremel rotary kind of little machine for cutting and sanding and doing all kinds of things, grinding and everything. But the problem is that they are generally kind of bulky. They either take a cord or else they're rechargeable, but the rechargeable ones, I don't know. I've had bad luck with rechargeable Dremel in the past, and they're also usually generally really expensive. This is a Hardell, evidently, kind of thing that's a little bit like a Dremel. It kind of splits the difference between my old Dremel, which was pretty big, and this little drill pen thing that was called like a Wow pen or a Pen Wow or something like that I bought because I saw people talking about it online. And it was okay, but like I couldn't use it for drilling barrels, which is why I bought it, because it only had one speed, and that speed was fast. So you would be trying to drill a barrel, and it would just be like, so that's no good. This, I don't know if I would drill barrels with this either, but at least it does have different speeds. So if I turn it on, we're currently on, there's your 5th, and then 4th, and that's the slowest, and that's not too bad. And it's also got a nice light built in there. That's pretty cool. It recharges via USB-C. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. And it comes with USB-C cord and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that was, I think, most impressive about it, besides the fact that it's got a nice case, it also comes with just a zillion accessories. So like for the stuff that we do, right? Like obviously there's drills. There's not as many different types of drill bits as I might like as far as sizes are concerned, but these are useful. The little one would definitely be useful for like bullet holes, like small arms fire poked into like a big giant robot or a vehicle or even a power armor or whatever. Some of these bigger ones, I'm not sure if that middle one is too big for a bolt gun, barrel, maybe. But then there's also just a bunch of different etching tools over here. There's a bunch of like sanding stones. There's even some little polishing things, they look like they're soft cloth, but they're actually kind of rough. So they're good for like if you're trying to, like if you really screwed up kind of a mold line and scraped it too hard, you can kind of smooth it off again with something like this. And then it has a bunch of little sanding blades, not blades, but like little sanding discs that you can use. It's got different sized chucks. It's got a whole bunch of little sanding wheels that you just attach to, focus, there we go. You just attach it to this thing here, the black rubber thing, and then you use that. And it also comes with even more of these different sanding wheels. There's a whole bunch of them in here. So if, like the sanding wheels like this, I can see uses for this in terrain all day, especially when you're trying to, if it's a big plastic, like kind of ugly piece of terrain, like from GW, where that the molds aren't as fancy as they do on the, and you get a lot of mold lines along the edges, and you've got a whole bunch of like castle walls or trenches, or something like that, and you need to get rid of those mold lines. That sanding disc is spectacular for that type of thing. But the fact is that this whole kit, with this nice little brightly lit, drill that has 5 different speeds, this whole thing's like $35. So I've been real happy with it, and I've been using it here and there, but the main reason I bought it was because of what I just said. I do have some terrain kits. I have like some fantasy houses that I bought. I have some stuff that's from, I want to say, Lord of the Rings. I have some Lord of the Rings terrain from GW, and I have some of those old trenches from back, 6th edition, 5th edition, somewhere in there. And all that stuff's got a lot of mold lines on it, and I just don't relish the idea of hitting them with an X-Acto blade or something like that. So just running along them with this tool is going to be a lot easier. So there's 3 hobby-related tools that I've recently started using, one under $35 and the other 2 under $15. And they've all made it into my hobby tool rotation. Like I said, I mostly use the standard tools like hobby knives and clippers and stuff like that. But when you need the right tool, having it in a drawer, kind of put away a little bit, or on a shelf or something like that, ready to help out, is really nice. If I had every tool that I owned constantly on my table, it would be almost as messy as it is right now. But, still, it's easier to put that stuff away and then use it when you want to use it. Again, I have links to all these tools and many other things as well in my Amazon store doohickey, which is down in the description down below. It's an affiliate link thing, so it kind of helps to support the channel as well. Have you used any of these tools that I just showed, or other alternatives that are kind of like them but a bit different? What did you think about them? And are there other tools out there that might be better, for doing what I'm doing here or whatever, or that I didn't show, or maybe just tools that you think other people should know about, right? Like, let us all know down in the comments below. And if you like this video and want to see more videos like it, you can engage in some depressmentation of the like button down by the comment thing. That's the place where they keep it, and that would be very nice. It helps out, the algorithm, and helps out the channel and all that kind of stuff as well. And if you haven't yet, while you're down there clicking buttons and stuff, hit subscribe as well. It's free. Thanks for watching.